Hey guys, so I'm going to share a bit of lore about why there are squid people in the lore and, what the squid people are about. Alright, first off, once upon a time, there was a politician. His name was Perez. He was, really entrenched in, very one-sided, politics that, was heavily based on conspiracy theories and, kind of thinking their opponent was, the worst thing ever, yeah. So, what ended up happening was, he decided, hey, I'm going to travel back in time and, fix history's mistakes, according to, what I think is right and, best for everyone. And that ended up creating a dystopian timeline and kind of really messing up history and almost caused a time-space war, which, caused, caused the timelines to converge and, it almost destroyed all of time and space. And, with the creation of, the dystopian timeline, well, yeah, that ended up eventually bringing up the Squid People. You see, the Squid People are 3 billion years after the mainline dystopian timeline, which is the mainline dystopian timeline is where Imperium would come in. Wait, I should probably explain Imperium too. Basically, Imperium is where Angelique became an evil dictator magical girl and basically create her own organization to basically, monitor and control basically all magical girls and, was hunting down magical girls that were, not wanting to side with her. As well as, anybody with, superpowers, basically. Yeah, but the Squid People are kind of irrelevant to that since it's 300 billion years after that. Well, actually, 300 billion years after Earth basically became despoiled and, and unsustainable to mass exploitation and greed that, basically destroyed the entire planet. Yeah, and basically the Squid People were evolved from, the rich and their supporters and all that. Yeah, it was basically the rich and powerful and, their supporters and all that basically left behind the planets and, kind of left everybody else to rot, basically. And, they basically the rich and powerful and their supporters that did that, would eventually evolve into Squid People and become intergalactic conquerors that would basically, go around harvesting other planets' resources because they basically learned nothing from, the destruction of their own home planet. Oh yeah, by the way, the people that were left behind on Earth, evolved into crab people, but, those people are actually good. Yeah, for the most part. For the most part, they're basically, average people. They just happen to, have crab features. Yeah. So, technically speaking, crab people are indeed real and into Mysore, yeah. Yeah, those people, kind of evolved into crab, yeah. But, the Squid People, are kind of a different evolution, yeah, of humanity, yeah. Yeah, and the Squid People, and the reason why the Crab People and the Squid People, as well as, Imperium and Angelique, ended up in, Endemy's timeline is because of, what happened at the end of the time-space war, basically. Yeah, I was able to successfully stop the timelines from, completely collapsing, but it kind of, brought stuff in from, other timelines that, aren't really supposed to be in the mainline timelines, and, those things were kind of part of it. Well, they weren't the only things part of it, but, some good stuff did come out of it. I did meet, other heroes as well. Yeah. In fact, one of the heroes on my team is actually a crab person. Yeah, that's another story, yeah. That's a tangent, yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, the Squid People were one of them, yeah. And of course, they're wanting to exploit Earth, basically. And, the Squid People and the Squid People not only have, slimy, sticky tentacles, which, magical girls are weak to, they also have psychic powers, basically, yeah. Yeah, so they're really not nice, no. Squid people, fight like squid, enslave all people. Yeah, but yeah, you want to know the reason I came up with Squid People? It's because of South Park, man. The crab people. And it was kind of, also based on this idea that, things would eventually evolve in the crab, which, has been happening in the present timeline. On regular Earth, which is where you guys live. I live on Earth I, which means that, it's also true there, but, that's because Indemani lives in an imaginary reality that's basically, made in Earth R, which is, kind of, which is kind of, based on your Earth. After all, all of us are your thought forms made manifest, aren't we? Yeah. Yeah, and I came up with Squid People. Anyway, see you later. See you later, and thank you for listening to the lore. I hope you had plenty of fun. Remember to fly like that and shine like the moon, for we are stuff dreams are made of. I mean, quite literally, and the body was literally born from a dream. As a radiant ray of hope that, come down and part the blackest night.